Hello friends, welcome to today's video where I'll be talking to you about Clay's most recent feature, which is Clay Custom Signals. And essentially by the end of this video, you will be able to first of all understand what it is, secondly, how to use it, and then thirdly, I'll also show you a step-by-step oversimplification of this entire setup process so that you can set up any sort of custom signals for yourself or for someone else. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. If you are not familiar with this most recent update, Clay just announced that they released a bunch of new signals, otherwise known as custom signals, and these range from signals from providers like Vanta, Rippling, and Cursor, as well as a bunch of other providers that are not mentioned on the screen right now. And these signals can be as niche as SOC2 certification announcements, or as generic as new enroll, job postings, and the more typical sales signals like funding data, for example. Now, the whole idea behind this is to be able to track signals that your competitors are not even looking for just yet, simply because it just seems revolutionary that you can track in real time funding announcements amongst your company hit list, for example. So without further ado, let's jump straight into Clay, and I'm going to show you step by step how you can basically implement those signals. Inside of your Clay account, all you need to do is navigate to the left side of the panel where it says Signals, and you can see some pre-built templates, otherwise known as recipes inside of Clay, where you see the job changes, new hires, job postings, promotions, and then news and fundraising events. Based on these 5 triggers, you can basically set up signals super fast, and on the right-hand side, you can also see custom signals as well. So first of all, let me just jump in and show you how this will be done. So 99% of the time, you'll click on custom signals, and as soon as you do that, you'll have a list of all the different custom signals here. Now, I believe that Clay will be adding a lot more signals in the coming weeks, months, years, decades. I'm sure you get the idea by now. And the whole goal of this is to be able to help you build your own recipe. So for example, you can monitor for ads from a software company or any sort of companies in your as soon as you see a new ad, you can reference it in an email and send them out an email. Alternatively, you can set something up where you just notify yourself. The first step is just for you to go and read all of these different custom signals here and then select the most relevant one. So I'm sure you can do that for yourself. And in the meantime, I'll show you the super basic setup of how this would work with the more mainstream signals as well. So in a nutshell, let's start with something like new hires. And once again, I'll show you how to set up the new hires custom signal from scratch. And then this will apply to custom signals as well. It will be the exact same way, but just the new hires one is a lot more intuitive to show you. So very simply, the first thing you'll do is import a CSV file. In this case, I just dragged and drop a file with one company because I'm just trying to give you an example of imagine us looking for new hires within adidas.com. In that case, all we need to do is just upload a CSV file with our target companies, select a company identifier, which will typically be the website or the company LinkedIn URL, and then you can see it will cost us 0.4 credits per run of when we're trying. We'll click on next over here, and as soon as that happens, you can then see the kind of filters. And once again, this will be a very similar filtering criteria regardless of what custom signal you're going for. In this case, I'll just look for anyone in procurement or sales or supply chain, for instance. And after that, you can also filter for all the other fun stuff like locations and all of the other things, and then click on next. And voila, at this moment in time, all you need to do is select a frequency. Once again, this will be universal for every single type of company. You can select a frequency. Obviously, the more often you do it, the more Clay credits you will burn. And then there is no way to replace Clay credits just yet for these kind of custom signals. So in the meantime, it's up to you, whichever option you choose. I would recommend doing it monthly. Then after that, you can select what the enrichment will be that follows the actual custom signal. So as soon as this signal occurs, what do you want to happen inside of Clay? If you have a posh and more expensive Clay account, you could just send this straight into your Salesforce or into HubSpot or into whatever your CRM is. Or if you're a bit more humble with your Clay spend right now, you can simply just send the message to a Slack channel for a specific sales rep to basically take care of it. So in this case, you will just click on send message to channel. You will connect your Slack account here by clicking on, and you can then just fill in a message here. So let's say we want to message the general channel and say something like, hey, we just found a new hire in an ICP company. See for yourself. And then we can then copy and paste the actual links to this Clay table so that straight away a person can then see the clay table for themselves. And over here, that's basically all you would need to do, and then click on save on the back of that. Now, you can also add extra enrichments, but for the time being, I wouldn't worry about this. But the biggest question that you would have is like, hey, how do I actually know that this works? Because you can see right now it's saying waiting for results, and a big headache will be setting this up and then just seeing no results, right? Because you've set it up wrongly. So that's why at the bottom over here, whenever you set up any sort of custom signals, you will have this add sample results button. And all you need to do is click on add sample results, and automatically it will just basically create a new sample result here where it's Jane Doe, and then you can see the company record here, hopefully, and then you see the person LinkedIn URL. Now, you can see over here it has a company record error, which for the time being does not look good. But all we need to do in the meantime, just click on save, and automatically this will basically become, and this will transform into a clay workbook. And then all you need to do is just basically run this as regularly as you want to run it by selecting the frequency here, and then click on generate test event to just see a test event for yourself. Time in a row, we got the error over here. In this case, it says unable to fetch fields from company table, in which case you would probably need to troubleshoot this with AI. So let's see what the reason is. And this didn't work just yet is because I believe I inputted the website URL when you're supposed to input the company LinkedIn URL instead. So once again, you can then edit the signal from the very start here, and then you can change the company identifier instead of the website to be the company LinkedIn URL. So you get the idea by now, hopefully, whereby you can see over here, as soon as a person's LinkedIn profile, as soon as we pull the new hires LinkedIn profile, we'll then be notified via Slack. And then over here, it says this exact message, which I can read for myself inside of an actual Slack message over here, which we just got from the Claybot general channel. So essentially, this is how you would set this up completely from scratch. Obviously, make sure that the company record is, like when you import the data, you input both the company website and the company LinkedIn URL so that you don't have this error button. But even if you do have this error button, honestly, there wouldn't be much harm done to this because you would still get the results of the new hire name. Now, a quick reminder that if you are to set up some sort of other custom signals, all you need to do is just click on signals, click on custom signal. But the real downside here is that Clay doesn't really provide you any education about each one of those custom signals here. So you just have to basically scroll through this and then just follow the exact same process that I did, where you just upload a CSV with a bunch of LinkedIn profiles or a bunch of company LinkedIn profiles. And then on the basis of that, you then just tell it what to do. And then obviously by the very end of it as well, side of the Clay workbook, you can then create other steps. So let's say this is the person's LinkedIn profile. We can then go and scrape the LinkedIn profile, right? So we can go and enrich the LinkedIn profile and scrape it just to pull a bunch of information. So let's just do that quickly. Enrich LinkedIn profile. Let's click on this. And then straight away we have the LinkedIn profile. Continue to add fields. And then let's say we want to understand their job title. We want to understand their summary, their headline on LinkedIn, all of this fun stuff. And we can then just run the rows. Obviously, there are more economic ways to do that, but I do think that this is quite a good idea to do. So let's just have a look. Obviously, because it's a test account, depressingly, we could not actually find a profile matching this because this was just a test account. But once again, this is the process that you will go through. So this basically just becomes a Clay table, and it's up to you how you want to enrich and personalize this entire table and how you want to go about designing this. So in the meantime, by all means, just go try out the custom signal. It'll be too long to go through all of them, but in super simple terms, those are the most common signals that you would otherwise get from other separate platforms like AdBeat, Triggerfy, and so on. And it's just a matter of just basically clicking on one of those specific signals that you want to go after, and then on the basis of that, just click on next. And then you can just look for whatever information it requires from you, and then just go from there. And eventually you'll build your Clay table. So in a nutshell, that's that. If you have any questions on custom signals more generally, by all means, do drop them down below. I'll be more than happy to address those. If you have any other video requests for this channel, by all means, let me know, and I'll make sure to record a video, since I'm aiming to put out 5 videos a week right now. So do give me some inspiration for that. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that so I can finally make up for the cost of this super expensive mic that I just got. And other than that, have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.